Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters, and welcome back to Politics and Debate. Inshallah, today the topic will be revolving around the issue of the niqab. Now, there are many sisters who wear the niqab, whether it be in the West or in Muslim countries. Some believe that it is wajib, that a woman should cover her face, and others believe that it is mustahab. Whatever reason, they're doing it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is much criticism against this garment, not just from non-Muslims, but even some Muslims themselves, who think that the niqab is just a cultural thing and that it is not part of the religion of Islam. Joining me in this discussion is my esteemed guest, Dr. Zahra. Assalamu alaikum. So, in recent years, there have been various countries, both Muslim majority countries and secular countries, who have banned the niqab, maybe in certain institutes like universities and schools, and then other countries have gone to the full extent of banning it completely. Isn't this a sign of oppression, and are they right to do this in the first place?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. Certainly they're not right. It's basically they are abusing the human right of this of the people or the ladies who want to wear niqab. It's their choice. It's part of their religion, part of the teachings of their religion. Some people consider it wajib, not only mustahab, they consider it wajib. Some scholars consider it wajib. And some scholars consider it mustahab on the provision that there are no adornment on the face and so on. And of course they have put other provisions. If you refer to the book on the ahkam, you will see that there are other provisions which indirectly it means it's wajib really. So the tendency is more towards wajib than mustahab. But anyway, so and devout Muslim ladies, they would want to wear the niqab, and they shouldn't be denied to do so by anyone. It will be wrong of any government to deny devout Muslim ladies to wear the niqab, especially in countries where they aspire and claim that they uphold human rights. So especially in those countries, they need to observe that. Unfortunately, we have few countries that don't allow Muslim ladies to wear niqab or even hijab. Alhamdulillah, in this country, in the UK, we don't have that problem by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in other countries, unfortunately, the Muslim ladies face this problem, which is a very serious problem, because it's to do with their faith. It's part of their religion, and it is not an option. Even if some ladies believed it was mustahab, okay, they are practicing that aspect of their religion which is mustahab.
They want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the end of the day.
At the end of the day. So no one has the right to prevent them from doing so.
Yes, and for the Muslim woman, I know on my behalf, I'm very proud of the garments that I wear, and the hijab, the niqab, the chadar, it gives honor and confidence to the Muslim woman. And the fact that these individuals, they don't take the time to sit and discuss with us why we wear it and how we feel about it, it's a real shame. But I suppose another way of looking at this, not only do these governments, they think that the niqab is a sign of oppression, that the woman is being silenced by having this piece of cloth across her face. But another thing you could argue is that this could be a potential security threat. The fact that an individual can walk around in society disguised as such. What would you say in response to this? Do you think the niqab is a potential security threat?
Not at all. This is really scaremongering. Um, uh, the people or devout Muslim ladies, Muslim women, they want to practice this aspect of their religion, and they should be able to do that. If someone comes along and bring excuses like this, national security threat and so on and so forth, in order to undermine this is really cheap tactics. It's certainly not the case. It may be that one of the terrorists does something like this, but it doesn't mean that we should ban the niqab. It's like some of these terrorists, they use cars and vans to murder people in various countries.
We don't stop using cars and vans.
Exactly, we don't stop using cars and vans. So this is very unfortunate that people resort to such cheap tactics. I think those who want to commit atrocities, for example, these days, unfortunately, the knife crime in this country has been significantly high. Latest statistic was only last month has been something like 7 people have been murdered by knife. Does that mean we should stop using and selling knives?
No, it's the people that abuse the knife in the first place.
So it's the issue is if something is abused to commit a crime, doesn't mean that we should ban that. Neither we ban cars or vans because it's been used to kill people, to murder people, innocent people, nor we ban knives because it's been used to murder people. And we shouldn't start talking about banning niqab because it's a potential security threat.
You could argue, though, in certain situations in our lives, for example, when we're travelling, when we're in an airport, or when we're at a bank, it's very important that the officers, that the staff are able to recognise us and identify us. So doesn't that cause a potential problem, a lady wearing the niqab? Not
really. If the border officer wants to check their identity, you'll have female officer to check the picture in the passport and and check her face in privacy of, so that other men can't see. There's no problem with that. It's really no problem at all.
That's true, actually, because it doesn't matter what country you go to. When you go through security, if you go through the metal detector and it goes off,
exactly.
If you're a man, there's a man there to frisk you.
Yeah.
If you're a woman, there's always a woman to frisk you. So it's not a big deal at the end of the day.
No.
But going to the Muslim side of the criticism, there are some Muslims. I remember recently watching This Morning, and there was an imam, a qualified imam. He sat there and he said that the niqab is a cultural thing and it has no validity within the religion of Islam. What would you say in response to this?
Well, it's very unfortunate for this person to say that. It's completely wrong. We have the niqab is not a cultural thing, it's a religious practice, and not only in Islam. In Christianity, early Christianity and Judaism, they used to wear niqab as well. In fact, you can see from drawings and pictures and paintings and so on that ladies used to wear niqab, Christian and Jewish ladies. So this is completely wrong what this man has said. And it's very much a religious practice, and again, they're trying to undermine this practice so that one day eventually gain the courage to ban the thing, but it's wrong. It's a religious aspect, and we have a great many examples in this respect to prove. If you like, I can give you an example.
Yes, of course, go ahead.
During the time of the Battle of Jamal, or just before it, when the army of Aisha reached Basra, and she wrote to her buddy Hafsa in Medina that we're there, we're ready to fight Ali, and we're going to finish him off. And they were celebrating that, and they were Hafsa got gathering of women in a house and starting chanting songs, ridiculing Imam Ali, that he's finished, that he has no chance, and so on and so forth, enjoying this would-be victory. And Kulthum, the daughter of Imam Ali alayhi salam, heard about this. So she wore her hijab. This is how it says. She wore her hijab and she went into the house, and they didn't recognize her. They didn't recognize her because she was wearing full veil. And she listened to what they were saying. And of course, probably there were other women who were wearing full veil and watching this celebration. And it says, فَلَمَّا أَسْفَرَتْ عَنْ وَجْهَهَا, when she uncovered her face, removing the veil, Hafsa recognized that she is the daughter of Ali. She stopped. So the point is here, فَلَمَّا أَسْفَرَتْ عَنْ وَجْهَهَا. So even though she went into a house and she was wearing the full hijab, full veil, Kulthum, the daughter of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So the point is, hijab it's not cultural, it's religious, and it's been going on ever since. And not only to do with Muslims, but early Christians and early Jewish people, ladies, used to wear hijab and niqab.
So it was normal for the ladies of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam to
So
not only cover their bodies and their hair,
face,
but also their faces as well. And there's also a misconception with the aftermath of the event of Karbala, that the veils of the ladies such as Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam and Sayyidah Kulthum alayhi salam, that they were taken. Now, some people say that it was actually the head covering, the khimar, whereas in fact actually it was just the face veil. And it's quite incredible actually, like how upset they were about that, you know, because the rest of them were covered, but the fact that these strange men could see their faces.
The very good point you raised. They asked Imam Zain al-Abidin afterwards, when he returned back to Medina and so on, they asked him, what was the hardest thing in this whole episode? And he repeated this word 3 times. He said, Asham, Asham, Asham. You know, what happened in Karbala, you know, his father, his brothers, his cousins, their friends, they were all massacred. They were all beheaded. He didn't say this. He said Al-Sham, because they were ridiculed, and the faces of his aunt and his sisters and so on were uncovered. It's for that that Imam Zain al-Abidin considered even more than the killing of Imam Hussein. We really need to contemplate on that. It shows the significance of the full face veil in the sight of Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. We need to think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting what Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam, when she says in the court of Yazid, say, how dare you allow your women to be covered and protected, whereas the granddaughters of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi are out here to be stared at by everyone. Going back to what we mentioned earlier, this from this fatwa of Ayatollah Sadiq Shirazi, may Allah bless his soul, he talks about that it would be wajib for a woman to cover her face or her hands if there was adornment. When we say adornment, are we talking about things like, for example, makeup, mendi perhaps, nail polish?
Yes, certainly. Makeup, any kind of makeup or nail polish and so on are considered adornment, or anything that is considered adornment. They leave it to the people. If things are considered adornment, they need the hand and face. In this exceptional circumstances, the hand and face will need to be covered as well.
Inshallah, we will take this hijab a lot more seriously. Thank you so much for this wonderful discussion, Doctor. Up next, my dear brothers and sisters, in Home and Living, Sister